First saved message.
George, what's up? Kevin here. Just a friendly reminder, I'm going to see you tonight at the studio to record our Life Sucks episode. I'm going to win this one, dude. Smarter. I'm stronger. Just like Calvin the alien, who had him licked, buddy. Yeah. Scientists could have found a virus in the dirt on Mars that slowly killed everyone on me. Boring, take it to the planetarium. Whatever the heck that thing's called. Anyways, I know you enjoyed the movie. I'm here to take that from you. Bye-bye.
End of message.
Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi.
Okay, so.
Good evening.
Good evening. That was pretty Vincent Price.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm told I'm supposed to do voiceovers.
I've been told we have very good podcast voices.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my future voice career. Speaking of the future, this is a podcast about science fiction.
This is
Ooh.
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Biologists diffusing direct shitty flukes.
That's perfect. Perfect. That's right. We are BDD Sci-Fi.
Biologists.
BDDSF. Biologists defeating. What was it?
Diffusing. Defeating.
Divergent. Shitty flukes. Fluke.
Fluke being a direct reference to. Don't save it. Don't blow it yet.
X-Files? No? Fluke
Whales.
Man? Whales? Oh, come on. No. You're way off base there.
Hey, what's your definition of religious?
Oh, I would say...
I was just thinking about this today.
Okay, I would say that it's in nature spiritual, yet concentrated around a specific
You were full of shit. Is there a dictionary in the studio? I don't mean what you... you know what? I shouldn't ask.
Do you want me... Oh, so you don't want to know what I think. You just want to... You want me to look up a definition and read that?
Yeah, no. I kind of maybe... Some people actually know definitions to words. I don't. I have like...
No, it's spirituality but organized.
No, it's not.
Sure.
No, where is there a dictionary here?
Religion is Yeah, I have a dictionary back on the bookshelf.
Okay.
All right, 1 second.
Clip, clap, clip, clap, clip. It's 60 yards away. It's a giant studio we're in.
It's on my one of many bookshelves.
What's it say on the spine of this?
Ways to cheat almost certain death.
It's a
It
dictionary.
was a prop in a TV show I did.
Listen. Religion
it's thumbing.
Starts with an R.
That's the sound of him thumbing through the pages. So yeah, intern Tony told me that I have a 1920s broadcaster voice. You know, like those newsreel things? Like, hey, Dateline, 1944. Although he said 1920s, so that doesn't make any sense.
Religious is having or showing belief and in and reverence for a god or deity. Number 2, of, concerned with, or teaching religion. Having or showing belief in...
That is exactly what I said.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Word for word.
Thanks for indulging me. I was trying to remember to look that up.
Anytime.
In a Google zone. This is a Google free zone, folks. We don't do the stuff that other podcasters do here at Biologists Diffusing Defeatable Shitty Flukes.
Kevin, let me ask you a question. Does that have anything to do with
what
we're talking about?
Well, what episode is this?
This is episode 42. Oh. 42.
You might remember from episode 41 that...
That's how old you are.
George, I'm 43.
Damn it.
George broke the episode 42 bit
I did.
on episode 41.
I did.
And so now he's just kind of got to say it.
I spent the last 3 weeks regretting the hell out of it. 4 weeks? Man, we took
It's been a bit. Did you release another classic Easter episode?
I did not. No, we just took
It was a 4th of July episode.
Took the 4th of
Freedom
July
episode.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit since we've talked into these mics. I took a trip back east, spent some time with family, and enough about that. 42. Meaning of life. Not technically. Technically, it's the answer to life, the universe, and everything in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. You've probably heard me say this a couple times. Meaning of life, Kevin.
Life.
That's as good as it's going to get.
It's alive!
That's it. That's the segue into... We're talking about Life, the movie Life. No, we're not talking about the movie with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, where they go to prison in the 1920s and spend their entire life there. Did you know that movie existed?
No.
Yeah, that was the better life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
You said you liked this movie.
I did. I know.
You're going down, Bubba.
Well, I don't see this as a contest. I don't see this
not
as a
so much. You know what? When you think you're gonna win, you totally see this as a contest, George.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, now you're gonna act like a pacifist. I set a huge double standard almost every single day for the rules that apply to me and the rules that apply to everyone else. Those are called unenforceable rules.
Unenforceable
Those of us who have a
rules.
gift can use them on you.
And this, for me, was an instance in which one of my gifts, backfired. Because I saw this...
One of your gifts?
One of my many. Gifts to the world, as I like to see them. One of my gifts is that I can see certain material for a movie, maybe even just as a trailer, and I can go, well, that's going to suck.
I thought this trailer told this movie. I was reflecting that on the way over here. This trailer showed me this movie.
Pretty much, yeah. There were a few things that I didn't think were going to happen that did happen, that weren't obvious in the trailer.
By the way, listener, we're going to spoil this movie.
Yes, if you have not seen it, that's okay. Here, I enjoyed the movie Life. It is by no means required viewership. I thought it was a pretty decent, really entertaining sci-fi flick. Kevin is going to take some odds with that in a second, probably. But here's the deal. Entertaining. Yeah.
How?
Kevin, when the movie ended, okay, I spent $5.99 to see it.
I did too.
On Amazon Prime.
Me too.
And when it ended, my immediate thought was, no, it wasn't like, wow, that was fantastic, or wow, I couldn't have found something better to do with those 2 hours. But that was pretty good. I don't see why everybody overreacted so much. Kevin is grabbing a Sharpie.
I need to
off
make
my
a note
desk
for
here.
later. What do you mean? Well, so first of all, we were the only ones who overacted.
Also, it's a tight hour and 42 minutes long. So
Do you know?
it's not one of those like two.
It was an hour and 50 minutes long.
With the credits, did you stay through the credits?
I did. I was hoping something would redeem the movie after the credits, like many of our children's animation films we see.
So, or Marvel movies,
Like-
which I guess is the same difference as children's animation. But hour and 50 minutes, it wasn't one of those 2.5 hour, that you just feel like you've got to get it in now. It's like you're 2.5 hours. That's like the standard length of a movie now. So I thought an hour 42 minutes, not so bad. I was entertained the entire time. I'll tell you what I felt.
So you settled for this being not so bad.
I felt tense. I felt tension during this movie. I did. It elicited a genuine
cheap tension.
Tension nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
Well. And there's a couple things in this movie that I thought were really well done.
Well, let's set up the world.
All right, let's set up the world.
There are 6 astronauts on the International Space Station.
Wait a minute. The International Space Station. Now that exists right now.
It does.
So, is this movie doesn't take place in the distant future?
No.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Nor does it. Well, we'll work our way up to that. Listener, you just marinate on that little tidbit that we asked rhetorically in an underhanded way. 6 astronauts. International place, whatever that's called. space station.
ISS for short.
And but who's counting? And do not update that. Last time when George clicked something that popped up on the screen, not only did you need to erase your history, but it destroyed the episode.
We had to call it a night, I think.
Yeah,
Didn't we?
oh, it was done, man.
That was
but,
tough.
A research bot from Mars comes back with soil samples. There's some drama in there about that just to set some character stuff in place. And we get to start testing samples. And sure enough, there is a single-celled organism in it. The conditions are proven after some failed attempts to actually grow this single-celled organism. Earth loves it. We have a...
They were
See,
expecting.
we're getting into the why life sucks parts of this movie now. This movie's going to kill itself. I don't really have to do anything
You don't
except
have to
explain
work at
to
all,
the listener.
really, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So
But so yeah,
when they're on Earth and they go to Times Square and the little
isn't
girl
that
comes
cool?
up and says, "All right,
our school is named Calvin Coolidge School, and we decided to name the alien Calvin,
the alien, who is a Martian." Now they were expecting this to show up. They mentioned quickly that the initial readings indicated that there was life present, and then they got it aboard, and then that was confirmed. So they named the alien Calvin. So we got a name.
And Calvin grows.
face.
It's established very quickly that Calvin's molecular or physiological
quick.
status is rapidly growing, intensely strong proportionately, and massively intelligent.
So
I would not want to let this creature out in a spaceship.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
I would, man. Yeah.
I hope there's not a series of walls.
Luckily, it doesn't. Life is a 2-hour documentary about scientists in space solving the riddling problems of how to sanitize their hands after using a suction toilet.
It got really, really close one time, and gratefully it was not able to take that newly fashioned tool and puncture the glove. Otherwise, we'd been in for a wild ride.
Are you talking about a dingleberry? I was...
It's
suction toilet.
Suction toilet.
Go right into the tube. Ralph, you, really, man, you should have your own.
So let's step back a second. All right? I want to talk about the not too distant future.
The Nazi distant future?
The Nazi distant future? Oh, my God. They're coming. Shh. Be quiet.
There are children sleeping.
Children. No. I meant the Nazis that are downstairs. That got real for a second. Well, it's life.
You really, George, that's life. And you really have a gift for just throwing out the real bigger ones out there. I think
Little
you
bit.
the one who
Hey.
blessed said slavery was cool? Was that how you kind of thought
I'm
slavery?
not the one who was just doing a terrible impression of a of a little girl making her sound mildly mentally handicapped while she's
Strap it down tight. Strap it down tight. I get to use the microphone. In Times Square.
in Times Square. I have a problem with almost every science fiction movie that takes place in the not too distant future where spacesuits look like suits that astronauts wear, where they're using shuttles that we use, and they're using... It's just... To me, it's just like, why not make
It's
that
not
jump?
science fiction. So, Gravity, science fiction?
Ooh, no.
Okay.
No,
What was its follow-up?
movie.
What was the other... There was another serious space one. McConaughey. What's McConaughey? Interstellar.
Oh, certainly science
science fiction.
Yeah.
So we'll get some.
But
we'll
then
get
that
some
was also...
fertile soil there to.
That was the not distant future, but certainly far enough in the future where the Earth is apocalyptic.
Well,
and-
so yeah, I think life is a story about scientists solving a problem, and I'm going to put out there that I don't think it's a science fiction movie.
I don't think
This
that-
one-celled organism could have just been a space virus
I don't think it
that
matters.
troubled them
so
just
much.
the same and contaminated their crew.
Yeah, but when we get into, because what you think is gonna happen is what happens. Okay, there's a little box, and the alien gets out of the little box, and it kills a certain handsome
Ryan
actor.
McRoofy?
Ryan McRooferton. Ryan Reynolds. That kind of shocked me that they.
I knew it would because you're a People magazine reading scumbag.
First of all, for the record, I don't read People magazine.
Where do you get your?
I just
how
haven't.
did you know that? Like,
Kevin is
like
just-
Idris Elba will never do TV.
Kevin
like,
is,
how the fuck?
Kevin
did
is
you...
just somehow impressed by the idea that I know actors' names. So I don't read People magazine. I do read Us Weekly, but that's only on the checkout line when I have too many items. Ryan Reynolds dies like really quickly in this movie. The thing goes right in his mouth. It's kind of a brutal death. I was kind of surprised by the brutality of this movie because I thought going into it, it's not crazy, it's not over the top, but I thought going into it was going to be more of like a, broad appeal. I didn't know it was R-rated. I didn't know how many fucks they were going to say in the movie. So yeah, that kind of shocked me a little bit. But the moment that these things, so it starts happening, gets in Ryan Reynolds, it comes out, oh my gosh, it's so much bigger. So everything
'Cause
it
it's
eats
feeding.
now, it gets bigger, it gets stronger, it gets smarter.
It's an octopus.
And now we're
with
left...
goldfish with fighting fish wings.
Yeah, fighting fish wings, which are apparently deadly. Just keep it away from your mouth. And it's indestructible. I mean, he blows this thing with a flamethrower, and nothing. You can't touch the damn thing. And now we're in the most like sci-fi tropey area ever. We don't know where it is, so it's just making its way around the station. While it did this, I was not at the edge of my seat, but I was tense. I was like, who's gonna go next? I thought there were some really good emotional moments with some of the characters.
You have gone soft on me, man.
I
Or you were always soft.
I liked
and
this
you
movie,
just get
man.
lucky
I mean,
sometimes.
I don't know how else to spell it out other than like I liked it. When
I saw
one-
the Challenger explode. I remember. It was fireworks. I'm Jake Gyllenhaal. I've been to Syria. I like it out here.
Dude,
I
think
like
there's-
it out here. Jake, you've been in space for 430 days. Your atrophy levels are, but probably inferred war story, which doesn't kick in because I suck as a soldier and I can't beat a rubber alien.
You did not like this movie, Kevin.
Why do people do this? Why
do they make
put
these
Jake
movies?
Gyllenhaal, Ryan McDaniels as
Ryan Reynolds.
you deleted the first message I left on this answering machine, and I'm going to beg the question: shouldn't I be sitting? Did I miss the point? Should I be getting a hand job in the back of a theater while this thriller's playing? Because I'm certainly not feeding my brain.
No. This is a movie.
I just poked the hole in the bottom of the popcorn, and
This is not a hand job movie.
No,
All right?
a
This is movie-
sneak job.
this
It's
is a
just at the
movie you
bottom of the
watch.
popcorn bucket. She's got to be hungry.
She's got to,
Before you get
of
the-
course. She's got to satiate the first need before
You
yours.
should have
come
some
into
more
play.
popcorn.
Some more popcorn,
It's
honey.
chafing.
Oh my god! What was I thinking with the cayenne
You want
pepper?
butter with that?
Popcorn.
Oh
my
you want
God.
you want seasonings? Don't they sell seasoning
That is-
things at the popcorn?
That is really salty.
Was that ranch and caramel? Yeah.
Okay. I put some Whoppers in there too.
Did that just make this an X-rated one? Hey, will you
Doesn't
pass,
matter.
Will
I
you
already
pass
said
me the
fuck.
seltzer, please?
Of course. So, when she's talking about, and when I say she, I mean the female who is not completely and utterly annoying. So not the Russian, because I don't remember any of their names. I think Hugh. Hugh's the only
The
one.
Russian? No, they're all annoying.
No, the Russian was terrible.
I
Russian
can't
was
let
terrible.
you do this. I did this.
It's
No, I have
just
no
like
control
she's
of
a
this.
terrible actress.
Yeah.
But and then when she goes outside for her spacewalk, there's a quick line. It was so terrible. I have to point it out. It's just like they're like, your heart rate is 61, blood pressure is 108 over 67. Boy, I'd hate to see you calm. It's just one of those like, come on.
Okay. And
But
so
when the other girl, when she's talking about her reaction to what this creature is doing, and she's going, it's not logical, it's not scientific, I hate this thing. I
You were
fucking
such
hate
a
it. I was
sucker.
sold,
You
man.
were such a
I
sucker.
loved it
Let
because
me
you know what?
explain
I
that in
hated
another
this
way.
thing too. I hated this thing. It was killing people that I liked, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this thing. I hate it too.
Okay, so first of all,
Go ahead.
This is where we go, folks. All right, these are scientists having a problem. A lot of them are emotional before they even left space. So the scientist who botches the job
We're talking about
and gets
Hugh?
his hand wrapped up, his legs are atrophied. So he, like Jake Gyllenhaal, is drawn to space for freedom.
Like a bird.
Freedom. Whereas Jake is escaping you, whatever that actor's name is, can't walk. And of course, in N0G, it's probably really good. But he botches the experiment and he feels bad because he's already lost one man and more are going to be lost. That's hackneyed, man. It like who writes right now in the 21st century like it's my fault. It's not your fault. A creature stronger and smarter than you grabbed your hand, crushed it, and escaped from its cage. It's my fault. Who says that?
We have written.
And do you mean? Are
Hugh,
you so vain? Are you so vain?
microbiologist
Stop!
Rue.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Are you so vain? that-
Microbiologist Hugh says
Mike,
that.
oh, you. Oh,
All
now
right?
you're telling
Name is
me.
Hugh, not you. Hugh.
And so,
Okay?
do you mean? Oh, my hunger for knowledge made this my fault because if I wasn't on this ship, we wouldn't want samples to find life. I mean, bullshit. So, anyways, that's just one. So it sets it up for him to go. I can't really blame this thing. It's just trying to survive. Very cool. Very biological approach. I get it. And then later, this scene that George is speaking about, where she's like, I should be able to detach or whatever, but I just hate this thing. And I didn't believe her.
I did.
I can tell.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that smile on
Yeah.
your face. You just think she's
what
cute.
I
think she's cute.
what
Your wife
I
listens to this
didn't like-
podcast, George. You can't say that kind of
What
stuff.
I didn't like was I did not like that the fucking creature is on the paraplegic guy's leg, and that's he can't feel them because it's chewing on his leg.
I didn't get that.
I thought we were going in the next level at that point. There's a point in this movie where they're like, we've got this thing trapped. All we have to do is lock ourselves in here, vent the oxygen out of the rest of the place, and we're good to go. It'll just suffocate. I thought they were going next level and that they were saying he had somehow been infected.
Yes, I thought he was going to give
And then I was
birth.
like, oh, this is going to open up now. And we're going to have like a creature that is like the shape of a man.
Which is kind of a thing.
Kind of a thing, kind of a venom thing, kind of a whole bunch of different things. So that doesn't happen. Instead, we get that the thing is just wrapped around the crippled guy's leg, chewing on his leg.
But I was up to that point. I thought it was a second alien because they didn't really let me know that thing somehow snuck in. They had purged it and were depleting the oxygen in the other areas of the ship.
Yeah.
They cheated.
So somehow it got under his pants and went on to
Well,
his
it is
leg.
smart, so
Hey,
it probably
Kevin,
he picked the paraplegic.
I am not gonna like intellectually defend everything that happens in this movie because it's impossible. All right.
I don't
It's
think
impossible.
you need to, and I think
All
it's
I'm
pretty vain that
saying
you
is-
think you can.
All I'm saying is I enjoyed it. We have written down here in our... This was mine. Every trope possible. This movie commits every violation of logic, of storytelling.
Have you seen the Europa report?
Yes. Yeah. Found footage. Terrible. It's terrible.
This sucks like that.
This doesn't suck like that.
Life sucks.
No. Life is a beautiful, beautiful thing if you want it to be, Kevin. You just have to find the thing in it that is great, and then you can be great, and then Jake Gyllenhaal can be great too.
I thought at least, I'm sitting there going, he's a soldier. He's going to pull this off. But no.
He's a terrible
He
soldier.
just sucks.
No.
He just sucks.
I think they fire that.
Syria warped him.
I think they fire that
He's not
gun
a man.
once. They're
Not a
walking
man.
around with that gun, and then they got the two guys piloting the Suez ship that is pushing them into space, and Asian guy just comes over and gets them both killed. It happens so quick. It's in the background. Like, you see the thing coming. At one point, this thing takes on, like, what you could consider its kind of final form, this creature. And it looks like almost a snake head.
With an octopus
body.
And then the fighting fish kind of feathery floating
to
fish
move
fins, long
itself
fish fins.
through. It is completely capable of surviving in outer space for a certain period of time. It is apparently indestructible. They're not certain that even re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, the fiery ball that happens when you... They're not even certain that that would kill it. So you've got this superior creature that is unstoppable, constantly getting bigger and stronger and smarter as it feeds. And at a certain point, we're faced with the possibility that this thing's going to get down to the planet Earth. Because now we've screwed up enough people have died, the orbit of our space station is starting to decay, and we're going down. So it becomes like a hurry up. It becomes the standard who's going to make it out kind of thing. You
Which is
already
just-
know who's going to make it out.
It's just boring.
But then,
to me.
But then they twist it.
They do not twist
They
it.
twist it.
I mean, it's a twist.
It's a
but
twist. It's not...
It's a gag. It's not a twist.
At what point did you know? At what point did you know in the... If you do not want to...
I thought this movie was just gonna play out like they planned.
Okay. All right.
And so
what did you think?
So when they took the time, so 2 are left, and there are 2 escape shuttles left.
Jake Gyllenhaal and non-Russian girl.
And they say, hey, look, I can manually override this thing only if you're in the other ship. So let's each get in a lifeboat.
Stop for a second. Why are they in that room freezing to death if there are fucking lifeboats? Like, that struck me while I was watching it. Why they're in that room and they're shivering. They're just like talking about the first time I saw Earth. And then
that's
bullshit!
Oh my god!
And there are lifeboats that they can just go and hit a button and it'll take them back to Earth. And the only thing is we don't know if re-entry is going to kill this alien.
So we gotta kill this thing.
We gotta kill this thing, man.
Kill this thing, man.
So here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm kind of cold.
We're
gonna die.
I was in Donnie Darko, so it's cool. I'm gonna get in one ship with the alien. Okay? You're gonna get in the other one. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna drive out into space.
No, but I should stay.
Let me do this. I'm Jake Gyllenhaal.
You're a pilot. That was
You
your
go.
line.
I'm a pilot. Right.
Oh, okay.
Which is the first
cool.
time.
I'll go back to Earth and live.
First time we find that out. Like,
He's a
he's a doctor.
whole lot of-
Fucking,
he's a wimp.
yeah. So it goes off without a hitch. Whole plan, huh? Oh wait, no. Our way down. Now the way this plays out is Jake Gyllenhaal is flying. You think he's doing this, man? He's got the stick. The
I
alien
think the
is
smart
in there.
alien grabs the stick and steers it home.
No, I think he was. Well, what happens is you see a solar panel smacks
hit
them,
him.
but we don't know which one it hits. Like, well, we do, but we don't. You know what I mean? Like, we see one of those capsules, one of those escape pods, goes into Earth's atmosphere.
Another one goes out
And
to
lands.
space.
The other
and
one is
needs
going
to go
out
out
to
to space
space.
to take the alien with it, so it just dies out there in a space capsule.
So parachutes open up, space capsule lands. Guys start
So
heading
that's
over
when
in
I
their
knew.
boats.
When
That's when I
they
knew.
took the
When
time
they took the time
to do it, I go,
Right.
they're gonna give the punchline.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is why I
I
call it a
think
gag.
that thing had braced. I think what happened was non-Russian girl got hit by the thing. She flies off, and that thing, rather than killing Jake Gyllenhaal, obviously had him like pinned. You can see in that portal, like he's pinned down instead of, so he can't get the thing. So the movie ends with fishermen in some Asian country, Thailand, wherever, opening up a capsule, and they're about to expose this alien to Earth, and possibly the demise of all mankind.
And that ain't life, bro. That's death.
No, that's life, because it's life. So it will be the new life. It's still life. The whole thing is life. Yeah, right.
Wow.
See?
Whereas I was thinking that, wow, we
Right.
should call this movie Life.
And then it goes down, and then life comes up before it goes to credits.
Oh, so that's how you knew that.
That's how I knew that whole thing about
It's
life.
life.
Right.
It's a cycle
life.
of life in a
Whole
way.
thing.
Yeah.
Whole thing's life. So that was that. That movie ended, and like I said,
you loved it.
I didn't love it.
You loved it.
No, I liked it enough to not want to There's a
Is
lot
that
of
just
shit.
because you didn't want to feel guilty about spending $5.99?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
There's a
Controlling
lot of
matter.
things wrong with this movie. Completely.
Well,
Like, but should this movie have ever been made? I don't know.
We
It
don't
was
control
made.
that.
We don't control that.
why is
Okay?
it getting made? Maybe we can control. We can't control that, but we can talk about that.
Sure.
And like I said, I think it's a hand job movie, and we've missed the point.
I think it's a filler podcast. You only watch this movie if you need to record a podcast about it.
That's right. Which is a very small select group.
Very small
listener.
group, which is probably why it made no money. You know.
Did it make no money?
It didn't make much money.
Well,
Yeah. But I mean, it was a thriller. It was exciting. I felt tense. Director has really done. The director's name is Daniel Espinosa. He's really done nothing before this. He did a movie called Safe House, a couple other flicks, but not much. This was his first big one. He insisted apparently on the ending being the way it was because they wanted it to be a happy story.
I thought it would be a cool ending. We here at Busy Dads have a gift. We usually write better movies than what was made.
Certainly.
I thought very simply, if the alien just flopped to the earth kind of in a steaming hump and just died, I kind of thought that would be a cool ending.
See, I wanted.
I just think I don't think you can end this movie. I think it wrote itself into a crappy place.
I wanted vengeance. That's what I wanted. I wanted
Why?
because I agree. Like
what
I
were
said,
you identifying with that made you feel connected to swarmy American and crippled scientists? I mean, what was it didn't touch me like that.
see.
Wow, what the hell
No, because it wasn't that. It wasn't that they showed me if anything, the Asian guy dying, the fact that they show his wife giving birth, that did nothing
Cheap.
for me. No, it did nothing. There was no emotional connection there whatsoever. But Ryan Reynolds' character, even the Russian, Hugh, the microbiologist, those guys dying, for some reason, I was pissed off at this thing. And maybe it was just because it was a gnarly looking creature, and I was if I was in a corridor with this thing, I was it was one of those things. I was watching it and I was trying to figure out all right, if I'm in a room with this thing, what am I doing?
Listener, I'm sorry. It's clear that George is going through an emotional patch here, and this
Seriously.
movie's affecting him in a way that normally wouldn't affect him.
Please send your donations to bddsci-fi@gmail.com.
He'll pay for the psychotherapy
Hopefully.
and maybe the. Are you doing penis reduction or penis enlargement?
What's the difference?
Ego.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's all a matter of perspective and what
matter.
size popcorn you buy.
It doesn't matter because according to life,
You don't need to go through a large. Yeah.
it always comes back
Just
to
buying a small bag. Yeah. Eat
It doesn't
Hurry up and
matter
eat it.
because-
Hurry up and eat it.
as it eats, it will get stronger and smarter and bigger. So,
And that's life
and that's life.
in a nutshell.
Why did they wake this thing up?
Well, that's okay. So there is mineable terrain in this movie that wasn't seen. Why do we greenlight this?
yeah.
Why wasn't it done on Earth? Okay, they kind of explained that.
Yeah, there's the firewall thing. There's the whole we don't know what this is, so we've got several levels of containment. As they're broken, we're in a controlled environment,
See, I think it's entirely bullshit that this creature would pop out, and that's why I think this is cheap, or also known as a thriller movie. Its purposes are different. There's not an envelope to be pushed, right? I did notice some things that I thought were telling about the good work that's been done by other folks we've discussed on this. There seems to be now a reflection space when times get tough, when times get desperate, and some of these lines we've talked about. I think there was a point when the scientist on his way out, the microbiologist, does he start quoting something? It wasn't as blunt as
rage, rage, rage into the dying of
No,
the
it
light.
wasn't,
But he goes through something poetic, and meanwhile I'm folding my laundry and
he
taking
is,
care of business.
He is.
And-
It's a callback to the book that Jake Gyllenhaal is reading at the dinner table earlier in the movie.
Well, there's a ham-fisted Goodnight Moon reference too, which is horrible. But
I liked
so-
that, man. I
did.
liked that a lot.
I bet you
actually,
did.
I'll be honest. I kind of teared up a little.
You?
I'm
Are you,
sorry,
George.
man.
Are you okay?
I'm
you can
fine.
you can let the listeners know. Man.
I'm fine.
Something you're going through.
It got to me. You know, I
So-
thought it was kind of appropriate. I thought there was a great shot of the space station at a distance when they did that. I did not have to search for reasons to absolutely hate this movie.
I didn't
I
either.
know
They
you
were
didn't.
coming
I know.
right
they were,
to
they
me.
Were, they were smacking me in the face.
I have a
but
gift also.
They were just kind of washing over me, and I was just kind of like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this ride. I don't know why it is this versus 50 other movies that are pretty much just like this that I would probably go, yeah, that sucked, man. Why would you watch that? But for some reason, this one kind of stuck to the wall.
You're right. And I mean, you shouldn't be ashamed of being in an emotional slump right now.
It's good. It's good, Kevin.
So, but getting back to the hard work that others have done,
penis in the popcorn.
in this dire straits, that is hard work that others have done. Don't spit your water all over the...
Stand on the shoulders of giants.
The dire reflections, waxing poetic. It made me think of times in Stalker when, in an art film, when these rules are allowed, when you're allowed to play by these rules, one might go into some of the religious quotes or the reflections, or just, while kicking a pebble around in a puddle, just start saying, reading Tolstoy to us.
Yeah.
Right? We can think of, again, Tarkovsky and the dining room scene in Solaris, where, I mean, it's just straight up like reading out of Don Quixote, right?
Yeah.
And it struck me that though this movie might not be satisfactory to me, that there are things I think that people before it have done. So we have these places, and for me, the little catch or the glitch was what could be perceived as outsider or boring or not officially sci-fi is really kind of setting the tone for what we do. Now, I'm not saying that this probably is done when people are in dire straits in foxholes in movies. It is probably predates Tarkovsky and Stalker or Solaris, but I mean, that's putting that back there in 1970 in film history.
Yeah. Those slowdowns are great, and they provide
Is that
those
what that's
moments.
called?
No, that's what it did.
Good night, Moon.
The world according to
And
George.
I think they stop at good night, no one.
Good night, no one, and he starts crying.
And the tear floats away.
Tear flows. No, that's earlier. I think that's earlier.
Her tear floats away.
Yeah, CG blood that floats is tough to pull off, apparently, because it didn't look good. Like when Ryan Reynolds has the full-on like blood vomit, it looked like a cartoon. This movie, I think, we start off barreling through space. I'm into it. A satellite that has picked up some dirt from Mars. We're in the space station. Where do we go from here to get the purpose of this movie, which is essentially...
We go to our lunch outside, and then we get back on the bus to the elementary school because we're at the planetarium.
We're at the planetarium.
Watching a movie.
About boring-ass astronauts in space.
And that whole thing,
You
their
don't-
whole interaction,
so you don't
their
make-
whole interaction with Earth
Uh-huh.
on their live footage,
Oh,
and
boy.
they each
Yeah,
get their like,
yeah.
this is the pee in
Yeah.
space, and
Do you like peas?
I couldn't
when the
imagine. I
little
was
girl
embarrassed.
says
I would have
yes.
felt weird doing that.
When the little girl says yes, I in my head I went, bullshit. You don't like peas. Like, I don't know why.
You're lying. You're like Calvin.
You're lying.
Because you're
like Calvin.
who in this day has elementary school pride like that? We at Calvin Coolidge High School.
They don't
decided,
in this day.
They don't
Kevin.
do that.
That's why this is the not
remember
too
being-
distant future.
I remember being intrigued by my elementary school was Mark Twain Elementary, and I remember that was meaningful to me.
Okay.
Um,
I went to Thomas Jefferson Elementary.
yeah.
Yeah. Big deal. Thomas Jefferson.
Total agrarian. It really wasn't about slavery, George. Like you say it was.
Jeffersonian revolution, baby. That's what it's all about. That's
Yeah.
what we're living in.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they
we just
whitewashed that.
just
You can't. No,
this whole
don't.
podcast just
Yeah,
got really
weird.
highbrow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it back down.
Because the Jeffersonian.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back down to earth.
Brag down.
Where an alien is
back
eating a
down to
species.
Jake.
Is it going
Gyllenhaal.
to reproduce? Can that once? How long does it take for that species to eat?
I kind of pictured it just getting bigger and bigger, and eventually, Earth would just be this
It's
ball
like home.
of species of this alien, and or maybe it would learn how to reproduce. It was too smart. Like, it was just, I don't even mean in a like we can't get away from it. I mean, it was silly from the get go how intelligent this thing got like that. They put it to sleep, then they wake it up, and then it's snapping a tool in half and using that to puncture its way out of
Interestingly enough, one place my mind went, and we're in this part of the movie here, where this creature it looked like, I forgot when it grabbed the glass stirrer and broke it in half to puncture the glove, which was supposedly impregnable, and gets out. In that space, there was one thing that I thought of, and that the microbiologist makes a mistake, and the baby creature goes into a shutdown. What was the mistake again?
He forgets to turn a certain valve off
Yes.
when he leaves, and that leads to the atmosphere in the room changing. And then as a defense mechanism, it goes into hibernation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can't get it to come out of hibernation, and they shock it.
Yeah, which I think is
And-
then you're hostile.
Well, and that's so on a basic life thing with some intelligence. For me, I was like, could this thing been the friendliest, neatest thing in the world? And in nurture,
Yeah,
it was disturbed.
right.
And
I had that same thought.
is it, and P.S. is that it's just not another piece of propaganda keeping the aliens from other countries down.
That's a little heady,
Especially
Kevin.
written by a man named Espinosa.
Yeah, that's a bit
Probably not it, is it?
probably not.
Yeah.
No,
What did we think Bruce Willis was? Was a phallic symbol keeping the patriarchy alive.
Yeah, keeping the patriarchy
running
alive.
around in a
Standard-
happy movie.
standard
And that's
Bruce
why I
Willis
love
trope.
that movie, and I love popcorn.
So we don't
You already
write
ate all that popcorn? No, there's a little more
a
left.
little more left in the bottom. We don't write a better movie. Is basically what we.
I think
because
this movie killed. It's the worst movie I've ever seen.
It's
in my
not the
life.
worst movie you've ever seen in your life.
What is the worst? I can't. I don't think
the worst movie
I can't think
I've
of
ever
stuff
seen?
like that.
I mean, I've seen movies that are so bad they're good. I've seen
but
movies
see, that's
that are
not
just
a bad
bad
movie anymore.
I've seen movies that are just like, this was such a piece of shit. This was a bad movie that I enjoyed enough, and that's really it. I enjoyed it enough.
So
but I mean, you don't write this movie better. You just don't make this movie.
Science fiction
you make a
has
movie
outrun this movie.
Yes.
This
that
is
and
not
that's probably
science
why it's
fiction
not a
anymore,
science fiction
except
movie.
we know that it qualifies.
It's a
but
tense
we're
movie
looking for something
that has to do with astronauts.
But we're looking for something different these days, and sadly it qualifies.
Did you see
because of
last-
extraterrestrial life?
Terrestrial. Did you see Last Days on Mars?
And no.
That's this movie, but sci-fi. All right, it's got Liv Schreiber in it, and it takes place on a
Liv Schreiber.
Liv Schreiber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't know who that is.
No.
It's fine.
Wait.
See,
Burgess Meredith's daughter.
Meredith Burgess's daughter.
Yes.
Different guy,
Yeah.
different girl.
Yeah.
Meaning of life. Check out Last Days on Mars. Last Days on Mars, Last Days of Mars, Last Days on Mars. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. You'll see some of this in that, but it's like done 20 times better. So yeah, I mean, you don't rewrite this movie to make it good. You just don't make this movie.
Ever.
Yeah, but it got made. and I liked it.
I finished Absolution Gap by Alistair Reynolds. I went on to get the set of short stories that packages and fills in some space called Galactic North. And on book 4 now, if you actually do read,
There we
I am taking the ride on that. Yeah? What? Oh, you think that was a jab at
No,
you? You really are sensitive. No,
I
that
read-
was just a regular old... I actually, because listeners, I don't know. If you can email us and let us know, I don't know if you actually read either. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that you know what literally means, but literacy?
No, it
or
means-
hey, but now you know the definition of religious at least.
It means
remember
lots
the,
of
remember
things
the beginning
now.
of
They
this?
changed the definition of literally to accommodate its common usage.
You mean because it's not actually used right anymore?
Yeah, and hasn't been for a while.
Literally.
Literally. See that what we just did? That's now correct.
So that's the word. That's the usage shaping the reality.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's in line with, language is fluid and constantly evolving kind of thing, which
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of French people would completely disagree with, but that's up to
Well,
them.
maybe not Baudrillard.
Saussure. Or Lourbeson.
Or what's his name? Cervix?
Hey, we got
Zizek?
we got Valerian this weekend.
Speaking of the French.
Yeah.
And the movie about the monkeys.
We've got Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Is that the third one?
I don't know. It's sort of weird, though. The billboards are so large now, and it just says, like, war, and it's like an angry humanoid monkey.
It's apparently
looking at me.
fantastic. I've seen some reviews that have said, like,
I bet it is.
it's the whole trilogy just comes together really nicely.
I out of my mouth popped on this podcast. The fact that I
Mouth
like
pop?
the Planet of the mouth popped.
Planet of the Alps? Were you going to
Planet. Hey man, you can let me.
Hey, go
we
ahead.
discussed this.
Go
segue.
ahead,
Are
Kevin.
you just gonna ruin it now?
Go for it, man. We didn't talk
Yeah.
about this. Liar.
What?
Go ahead.
What? Vic got to you. Anyways, I said I like the Planet of the Apes franchise because it's smart and intense, and it kind of gave me something to grow on here. Life wasn't doing that for me, and so I'm not attracted to it.
It was not smart. I agree with you completely on that. I felt like it was intense.
No.
Yeah.
See, well,
But that's not.
I mean,
'cause
if
I don't
you
think,
were
I don't
conned,
think my, I don't
you
think,
got conned somehow by what he did with characters for it to be perilous for you.
I don't think it was that because I didn't find myself relating to the characters because of what was presented to them. Like, it wasn't even so much the characters dying as it was my own response to this creature and maybe being slightly afraid of it or maybe wondering what I'd do in that scenario. But I found it to be a tense movie. I often have a different response when people are seemingly dying for no reason in movies. Like, all right. This is a one I'm pulling out here. Okay, did you see the most recent Jurassic Park movie?
No.
Okay, so in Jurassic World, there's a character who is Bryce Dallas Howard. She's the female lead. Her secretary. Stay with me here, Kevin.
Just
Her secretary is this British girl.
Yeah.
She's got glasses and she's slightly annoying. All right, and her job is to take care of these two kids who are going to see Jurassic World. She's slightly annoying, but nothing like crazy. At one point, Kevin's starting to glaze over. Stay with me, listeners.
Yeah, I mean, what am I?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Listen to this, all right? I'm explaining myself here. Okay, so she meets a horrible death. She gets picked up by a pterodactyl, thrown back and forth between other pterodactyls, terrified the entire
Terry
time.
toss.
The Terry toss.
Yeah.
Classic Terry toss.
Class.
She then gets thrown into the water. They're trying to drown her. One of them picks her back up, and then this giant aquatic dinosaur comes up, eats the pterodactyl and her, who's got her. So, when something like that happens in a movie, when a character gets what I consider to be a completely undeserved death, it bothers me.
It bothers your sense of
It
justice,
bothers my
George.
sense of, I don't know what it is, but there was a lot of that in this movie. So when she said, I hate this thing, I went, yeah, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you can stay in this place if you want.
Or I could grow.
Or read.
Same thing, right?
Well, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Isn't that life?
Isn't it?
You know what? This is life, Kevin.
This exchange right here.
Yeah, I'd rather do this than watch this movie again.
You want any more popcorn?